Welcome to this short training on internet safety. We all know that we need to stay safe while we're using the internet, but we may not know just how to do that. In the past, internet safety was mostly about protecting your computer from viruses, but today the internet's vast reach, constantly changing technologies, and growing social nature have made users more vulnerable to identity theft, privacy violations, and even harassment. This lesson will introduce you to the types of threats you may encounter while online. It will teach you basic strategies like how to Google yourself and create strong passwords, in addition to encouraging you to adopt a safer mindset toward using the internet. When it comes to the internet, people generally believe they are safer than they actually are. Why? Often the impersonal nature of technology can give us a false sense of security. After all, no one can physically attack us through a computer screen. We tend to have an "it won't happen to me" attitude. We may even believe that our computer programs and the powers that be are automatically taking care of the important internet security stuff for us. Sometimes we just avoid it altogether because, to be frank, we just don't get it. Does this sound like you? Consider the following questions. Have you ever Googled yourself to see what information can be found on you? Have you set up your computer security program to make sure you are getting regular updates? Do you have an external backup source for your computer? Are you enticed by emails or advertisements with special discount offers? When shopping online, do you check a website's security status before entering your billing information? Have you customized your privacy settings for your social networking accounts like Facebook, Twitter, and Skype? Generally, a mall is not considered a dangerous place. We go there to shop, run errands, and meet people, but we also take precautions while there. We wouldn't leave our car unlocked in the parking lot or walk around with our wallet hanging out of our purse. We wouldn't tell a sales clerk our social security number or give our address to a stranger that we just met. The same applies when we are online. We need not fear our every mouse click, but we should take precautions to ensure our safety. And this is thinking of the internet as you would a shopping mall. Now let's turn our attention to internet safety and privacy. In the past, internet safety generally referred to threats to computer hardware or identity theft. But now, with the internet becoming more and more social, privacy has become a significant safety concern. Privacy violations can especially affect our mental and physical well-being, thus creating distress or harm from the following, such as undesired advertisements that can be annoying, embarrassing or humiliating photos or videos, legal entanglements from libelous posts, cyber harassment or cyber stalking, identity theft, or offline or real-world crimes. So, Googling yourself. Do you know how much anyone can quickly find out about you and your background just by conducting a simple web search? Most people don't know that personal records, such as their addresses, phone numbers, and sometimes even their pictures, can be easily accessible to anyone online. While this information may not be harmful, in some situations you could put yourself at risk by not knowing what's out there. For instance, someone only needs to find out your home phone number and they can find your address and directions to your house just by conducting a simple online search. Google yourself regularly to find out which websites and public databases share information about you. Make the most out of your search. Enter search terms such as your name, email address, home and work address, and phone number in a variety of ways to get the most accurate and complete results. Also, putting quotes around your search term tells the search engine to find a specific phrase just how you wrote it. This will make your search more efficient. First name and last name, Will Bolding. First, middle, and last name, Will Edward Bolding. Note that those are all in quotation marks. Last name followed by a comma and then your first name, Bolding Will. Last name followed by a comma, your first name and middle name, Bolding Will Edward. Street address, 2521 Street Address Lane. Phone number, using no spaces or hyphens, search all instances of your number. For example, 919-555-4444. Email address, boldingsoccer@email.com. Removing your information, removing your information from websites. You can ask a website to remove your information. Keep in mind that websites are not always obligated to comply with your request. If the information posted about you is a direct threat to your safety and you need help negotiating with the website to remove the content, you can contact wiredsafety.org. Someone at the organization will be able to advise you on your specific case. You can also pay an outside service like reputation.com to remove your personal information online. For most people, this type of service is unnecessary, but keep in mind that it is an option. Passwords, the first step to safety. Most people don't put a lot of thought into creating a password. It's usually easiest just to create a short, easy to remember password, or even just use the same password for every account. After all, the average person probably won't be able to guess your password. However, hackers often use password cracking software that can keep testing different passwords until they find the correct one, and they can easily crack weak passwords. By creating strong passwords, you can greatly reduce the chance that your personal or financial information will be stolen. Common password mistakes. Many people create passwords based on their spouse's names, a hobby, or a simple pattern because these types of passwords are easy to remember. Unfortunately, they are also easy for hackers to guess. To create a strong password, you will need to avoid these types of common mistakes. Tips for creating strong passwords. Never use personal information such as your name, birthday, or spouse's name. Personal information is often publicly available, which makes it easier for someone to guess your password. Use a longer password. Your password should be at least 6 characters long, and for extra security, it should ideally be at least 12 characters if the site allows it. If you need to write down your passwords, keep them in a secure place. It's even better if you encrypt your passwords or write down hints for them that others won't be able to understand. Don't use the same password for each account. If someone discovers your password for one account, all of your other accounts will be vulnerable. Try include numbers, symbols, and both uppercase and lowercase letters if the site allows it. Avoid using words that can be found in the dictionary. For example, swimming L would be a weak password. Random passwords are the strongest. Use a password generator instead of trying to think of your own. Remember, passwords are more difficult to remember, so create a mnemonic device. For example, H equals JNP2 pound can be remembered as Harry equals Jessica Nokia Paris 2 number. Oh, the can wasn't part of that, just to note. This may still seem random, but with a bit of practice, it becomes relatively easy to memorize. You can also choose a sentence you know you'll remember, and then use the first letter of each word in the sentence, plus a few symbols or numbers as your password. Using password managers. Instead of writing your password on paper where others can easily see them, managers can also generate random passwords, making your information even more secure. Examples of password managers include LastPass, KeePass, Firefox's password manager, and Google Chrome's password manager. For example, when using LastPass, you will first need to install the LastPass browser plugin. Whenever you type a password on a website, the browser plugin will ask you whether you want to save it. The next time you go to the website, LastPass can automatically enter the password for you. If someone else wants to use your computer, you can simply log out of LastPass to prevent the other person from accessing your information. Email tips for spam. Email has become an essential tool for communicating, which is why it is so popular with scammers, cyber criminals, and advertising companies. In order to protect ourselves from phishing scams and malware, it is essential that we learn how to safely manage our mail. Spam is another term for junk email or unwanted email advertisements. Today, a majority of emails are spam. This is because it's easy and inexpensive for spammers to send an email to thousands of people at the same time, and they can do it anonymously, making anti-spam laws difficult to enforce. Phishing scams and malware are often included in spam, so it is important to be able to effectively manage the spam we receive in our inbox. Tips for dealing with spam. 1. Use a spam blocker. 2. Don't reply to spam. 3. Turn off images. 4. Turn off your preview pane if your email service has one. And 5. Regularly check your spam folder. Email scams. Many spam emails aren't trying to sell you something, they're trying to steal your money or personal information. Email scams come in many different forms, but generally they work by promising you something that's too good to be true, or by making you think something bad will happen if you do not act. Popular email scams include work-at-home offers, weight loss claims, debt relief programs, and cure-all products. More on email scams. Advanced fee fraud. Have you seen an email or classified ad on Craigslist, for example, promising you something if you advance a certain amount of money? The word for this is advanced fee fraud. It's different from other email scams because it involves corresponding with an actual person, someone who is trying to trick or mislead you by sharing their personal story, which is almost always false. One of the most notorious examples of advanced fee fraud is the Nigerian letter scam. More on email scams. Phishing. Phishing is a type of scam in which an email pretends to be from a bank or another trusted source to trick you into handing over your personal information. Scammers can use this information to withdraw money from your bank account or steal your identity. A phishing scam will often have a sense of urgency. For example, it may claim that unauthorized charges were made on your credit card and that you need to immediately verify your information. Don't follow the link. It's easy for an email to use the logo from a legitimate company in order to look official, but any link you click could take you to a shady site. Always type the web address manually or click one of your own bookmarks to go to your bank or other trusted websites. Report scams and spam. Some email service providers have a "this is spam" button or another method for reporting spam. You can also contact the company being misrepresented and report the spam. Another option is to email a report of the spam to the Federal Trade Commission at spam@uce.gov. Get more information and learn more about specific scams by visiting the Federal Trade Commission Scam Alerts and OnGuardOnline.gov's phishing page. Dealing with email attachments. Email attachments are especially dangerous because they contain viruses and other malware. When you open the attachment, the malware can be automatically installed on your computer, and you may not even realize anything has happened. Malware can damage files on your computer, steal your passwords, or spy on you, so it's important to be extra careful when you receive attachments. Tips for dealing with attachments. 1, don't open any attachment you weren't expecting. Even if an email looks like it's from someone you know, it may have been automatically sent to you by a virus. This is how many email viruses are spread. If you receive an attachment from a friend, you should call or email that person to verify that the email was meant for you. Keep your antivirus software updated. Viruses can spread quickly, and if your antivirus software isn't up to date, it may not be able to block new viruses. Keep your computer's firewall on. Firewall software helps to prevent people or malware from gaining access to your computer through the internet. Scan attachments for viruses before downloading. Many online email providers can scan attachments for viruses, and some will not let you download any attachment without scanning it. Social networking and privacy. Social networking and sharing on the web are taking off in ways we may never have imagined. But along with all of the fun social aspects come significant questions about privacy. More on social networking and privacy. Legal issues. As the popularity of social networking increases, so do the libel cases being brought to court based on defamatory posts and tweets. What you share on social media is written documentation that can be traced back to you if required by law. In extreme cases, you may not retain a right to privacy, even if you have posted something anonymously. Cybercrime. It is best to remain as anonymous as possible in online profiles and carefully consider what type of information you share. Sharing personal information like your birthday, address, and place of work can give cybercriminals what they need to break into your house or even break your bank account. To be safe, never post sensitive information unless you can control who sees it. Behavior tracking. Many commercial and social media sites allow data collection on your online activity and preferences. However, users don't always understand how their information is being shared with and used by third parties. For example, you may be aware that Facebook tracks what you do on its own site, but you may not realize that it receives data about your activities from other sites as well. If you feel that this practice violates your privacy, you can install a browser plugin like AdBlock Plus or Privacy Badger, which will prevent most sites from collecting your data. More on social networking and privacy. Geolocation. Some websites and mobile apps have a feature called geolocation, which uses GPS to share your current location with others. A similar feature called geotagging automatically adds location information to photos taken with cell phones, which can be then read with special software. These features can be fun, but they can also provide criminals with information on your habits and whereabouts. To be safe, it's a good idea to disable the geotag feature on your cell phone and to disable geolocation features before posting online if you don't want to share your location. Child protection. Children who are active online face all the same potential dangers as adults, but they don't necessarily have the knowledge or maturity to protect themselves effectively. All parents should therefore discuss internet safety with their kids and monitor their social media and internet use. Image and persona. In the era of the internet, damaging or embarrassing information about a person can be spread quickly, widely, and permanently, thus affecting his or her image and persona both online and offline. In extreme cases, people have been fired for complaining about their jobs online or rejected by colleagues based on online party photos. What you share online, that should have been rejected by colleges based on online party photos. What you share online can be seen by anyone, so it is important to be aware of the image you are presenting. Netiquette tips. To avoid awkward or negative experiences while communicating online, it's helpful to know the basics of netiquette. Netiquette refers to network etiquette for online communications and can be helpful for beginners. Listed below are a few basic tips everyone should practice when communicating online. Netiquette tips. 1. Be respectful. Always treat others as you would like to be treated. A good rule of thumb is not to communicate anything online that you would not be willing to say to a person's face. 2. Don't be too quick to take offense. In online communication, we usually cannot see facial expressions, judge body language, or hear tone of voice. Therefore, it's easy to misinterpret the meaning of a message or post. Also, the technology itself tends to make us less personable. Before taking the offensive, clarify a message with the sender. Use emoticons and abbreviations to convey meaning. To convey tone, humor, and meaning, learn common abbreviations like LOL, laugh out loud, and JK, just kidding, or use emoticons such as a smiley face or a frowny face. However, be careful not to overuse these symbols or your messages might become annoying or difficult to read. 4. Protect the privacy of others. As a courtesy, you should ask permission before posting photos or videos of others online. You should also protect the email addresses of others by deleting them from emails you forward. 5. Check your language. Using offensive language online is unpleasant and can cause people to view you negatively. Take a few moments to check your communication before sending it and avoid using foul or inappropriate language. For a more extensive resource on netiquette, visit Albion or Netiquette. Also, keep in mind that rules may vary for email, online chats, web forums, online gaming, and other social networking outlets. It may be smart to search for specific rules pertaining to the particular outlet you're using. Think before you share. As we become more comfortable with communicating and sharing online, we still need to keep in mind that what we post has the potential to get us into trouble. Something about the impersonal nature of technology makes us feel safe about writing or posting things we would likely not say to an individual face-to-face. In some situations, we definitely need to think before we hit send. Examples. Number 1, a teacher in North Carolina complained about her students on Facebook and ended up getting suspended and then reassigned to a different position. Think before you hit share, especially when posting comments about your job. 2, a job candidate sends a scathing email when he was rejected for a position by a hiring manager. He may have been considered for a second opening, but instead he destroyed his chances. Think before you hit send, especially if you are upset, frustrated, or angry. 3, a politician in South Carolina used his work email account to send romantic messages to his lover. The messages were retrieved and published in the media, causing great embarrassment. Think. Never post or write personal or inappropriate content in the accounts you use on the job. They are not considered private, and any content belongs to the company and can be used against you. 4, an administrative assistant took a sick day and headed to the beach for a day of fun. Unfortunately, her tweets about her great day at the beach got back to her boss. Think. Managers are now using social media more and more to catch employees participating in unprofessional behavior. Think before you share. We tend to use online sharing for casual communication and socializing. Therefore, it's easy to become careless. Here's a good rule to keep in mind. Do not write or post anything you would not be comfortable sharing with an entire room of people. That's it for today's online video. Thank you for your attention.